So dear Base Trade fans, I apologize in advance. I need you guys to first blood in spirit for me, I guess. But welcome to the Axiom Story Cup. I got the in-game overlay, I got the in-game scoreboard, all these wonderful things set up for today. This is a very important match, a very important series, one particular best of 9 that matters more than most. We'll explain more why in a moment. For now, spawning in the top left corner of the map from Mousesports, the red Zerg player with all the special tactics, Starbuck.
In the upper right, as the blue Terran, it is Axiom's Young.
Now it's worth noting, Starbuck, I don't know, brimming with confidence today. AxRyung was having a little bit of trouble joining the lobby, but when he finally did, yeah, we got ready to go. But Starbuck, prior to watching him join the lobby, was like, oh, you know what? AxRyung's kind of all-in-ish, I'm ready for his tricks, he's not going to catch me off guard. I don't know, it's...
I think he was joking, because then he said he's gonna, I don't know if my Broodlord Rush is gonna work.
Well, I think the Broodlord Rush was the joke, but I mean, the thing is, we have seen like a lot of blue flames coming out of AxRyung, a lot of those dedicated 2-base pushes. I can't say that's exactly his MO, because I know him to be a macro player, but it does feel like the last couple times we've cast some combination Ace for Team Story Cup, WCS qualifiers, these have been situations where we've seen him kind of go all in. But at the same time, and especially referring for WCS qualifiers, these are all situations where AxRyung was kind of on like 15 hours no sleep. So I'm not sure what Starbuck rather is basing his opinions off of. Maybe he was just joking, maybe he was telling the truth, but there is a little bit of truth as far as the history of seeing AxRyung on BaseTradeTV.
Alright. Well, Starbuck's gonna go for 14 pool and 14 gas, which is pretty aggressive. He's also gonna scout AxRyung first. So of course, you don't really SCV scout in TVZ, so unfortunately if he puts that command center on the low ground, it could just be have to be cancelled.
Well, getting back to just what we got this slower opening here, guys. We'll keep an eye on this Reaper, of course. Here's what makes today so important. Axiom needs this win. And they have to win against Empire Fnatic, which is completely possible. Although, granted, Hearthstone and Mini Razor have been kind of crazy lately. But if they can win today in Empire Fnatic, there's a pretty good chance they could qualify for the Grand Finals. Because, sadly, they have to hinge on My Insanity losing against Acer. But if we're going to be honest, there's a pretty good chance My Insanity could possibly lose against Acer. Acer's going to be one of the scariest teams for them to fight still. So there's a very realistic chance, guys. As long as Axiom wins today, they could finish top 4. But they need the win today to start all of that. Because if they don't win today, nothing else really matters. No amount of losses on other teams will make up for that difference.
Starbuck is also getting a Roach Warren and Burrow. When the
really early too, yeah.
Yeah, when the Tunneling Claws like buff, that's what it was, right? Came out, there was a lot of people trying to like use it, like, you know, 1-base rushes to Burrow and Tunneling Claws. Like, I don't think anyone really like ever stuck with it though. It's not a usual build, and unfortunately, AxRyung goes in there, sees no hatchery, and thinks that it's just gonna be fast lings, which is not true.
I haven't seen 1-base Roach play since like, I want to say like Wings of Liberty. Like, I know you're referencing the whole burrowing tunnel claws and stuff, but like, I haven't seen this. This is, I mean, tunnel claws isn't even going to come into effect, quite frankly, but what I think is going to be interesting about this is, there's going to be such a low marine count here initially. What's going to end up happening is, as the Roaches burrow, they're actually going to be able to heal micro the damage from 2 marines pretty easily.
Well, it is fortunate that he got marines at all, as opposed to
faster Hellions, yeah. But I think that plays very heavily into the scout. What's kind of odd is, normally you'd like to see the SCV transfer to the natural, so you have them there to repair. He's only got 4 SCVs, and the Reaper being out here is really important. It's probably going to die, but it'll give him the signal to pull the SCVs ASAP. Because without them, he doesn't hold this.
Oh, that's not a full wall off. I mean, it doesn't really, if these were like lings too, then that would be more problematic, but that's actually... Oh, yeah. That sucks.
You get teared on the rocks. Wow! Oh my god, I've not seen anyone do this. Starbuck came into this map with a plan for this game specifically. First blood.
Oh,
someone started lagging for a second. That was a bit awkward. I thought that was me tabbing out, but as pointed out before, look at this. The Roachers, they take a bit of damage, granted, but that heal from that burrow is pretty intense. Now, AxRyung doesn't have to dedicate to this, right? Like, he can lift off the command center, he can track it back to the main. He'll have to give up the supply depots, but it'll be better than giving up the game. The SCVs are way too late to repair this bunker, and everything falls back. This is so unfortunate, but for Starbuck, this is a lot less all-in than it looks. He took an expansion behind this, He's been droning a little bit. I mean, okay, a little bit of miss micro on that one roach gonna cost him, but he didn't actually force a lift off in the end here. So he gets a couple SCVs for his trouble, and he is, granted, very far ahead on worker kills, or worker count. Well, I guess also worker kills. But now that Ryung's got the Marauders out, I mean, these 3 roaches are no longer a threat. You know what's actually kind of funny, though? There's a gap in the wall for the supply depots. Do you think it's because Ryung forgot about how the spacing of supply depots works because he always uses 2 engineering bays as part of his wall?
No. As far as I looked, it was intentional to put the SCVs in a full surround.
I know, I was just making the joke. Because that's what he's like one of the few people we see do that consistently.
Well, you're not going to put your 2 engineering bays down in a rushed wall.
Oh, no, of course
The reason he always did it was because it was always like a, you know, a nicely timed wall that would happen in a normal time, not a rushed one when he scouted they didn't go for a hatchery. He still doesn't completely block it off, though, and that's just so worrying because even if 1 roach gets in, like, that's a scan at the very least, and if like all 3 get in, then that could be multiple scans again when he's already down in workers.
Sorry for making a joke, Zombie Grub. I forgot it was the no fun zone. But speaking of this double engineering base, they are actually on the way. So that combined with Stim means he'll be able to get his upgrades going here. A little bit of an awkward start for Ryung because this is by no means a common build out of Starbuck. But it's a really cool one. Honestly, if I played Zerg, I would love to try. At least on merry-go-round. Abusing the rocks there was probably way more important than anything else. Didn't help that the bunker was in like Africa too.
If Ryung scouted the roach warren as opposed to just seeing if there was no hatchery.
I don't know. Do you think he could really react much differently? I mean, like maybe throws down a second bunker, but I mean, it's 1 base roaches. You know the production's limited to like between 3 and 6 larvae. There's not going to be more than that coming.
He might have thrown in a second bunker. I don't think anyone was going to think about these rocks because they are hardly ever a factor in any game. Which that was, you know, really what the problem was, is that he was able to get into the base. But would have been interesting to see if he had appropriately scouted.
Well, he's actually fully walled off now, worth noting. But I like this though, Starbuck too. Ling's being burrowed everywhere at the moment, so really getting good use of that tier 1 burrow tech. But this one out here is probably the most important. If we look at his vision, Starbuck obviously can't float an Overlord over here. If he does, the Marines will kill it. But the burrowed circling, there's no reason to really scan this. There's no reason to detect it. It's not a threat, but what it does do is provide scouting information on when the army moves out.
Well, one thing that Roach Warren seemed to do is delay his mutas, as the layer is only finishing in 11 minutes, and if he does decide to go for mutas, I mean, he could just flood with lings and banelings if you want to be really aggressive, then they will be late.
Starbuck's also taking a really fast 4th. This has got to be worth noting because he had that much slower start to this, but at the same note, he doesn't really have a way to defend this if Ryung was to really go aggressive on it. Not that Ryung plans to, but oh, I don't know how or what 6th sense he had, but he scanned that Zergling that was burrowed out there. You get the Overseer too. Nice control so far.
Probably worried about the roaches. I mean, I think the roaches were originally burrowed there, so.
That's right. I forgot about that. They were. Depot's not raised, but that's okay. He's got plenty of Marines here.
Unfortunately, he doesn't. Well, oh, never mind. He doesn't have a 3rd base. This is all for 2 bases. He has 5 barracks on 2 bases. All right then. I was gonna say if that 3rd was there and it was trying to, you know, lift off and plant while he was doing this aggression, it was going to be, not able to do it.
Yeah. Well, as you point out, the Spire incredibly late compared to what normal timings would be, but I think the 4th base will help make up for that if he can hold on to it. Because for Ryung at the same time, there's no reason for him to check this. It's pretty standard to assume a Zerg player is going to be on that 3rd base, but the 4th one is so absurdly early, it might be end up, I don't know, dare I say, like cloaked because of that. There's no reason to look up there anytime soon. That's a lot of banelings though, so Jeffco Hooks is finishing up here in a second's time, and once the speed kicks in, it's going to allow him to engage a lot more efficiently. Oof. Just gonna make Baneling drag that Widowmine hit back with it.
I don't know if Ryung can really do anything here. I mean, the splits are consistently good. I think Starbuck could have done more with those Banelings.
What it really, well, actually, you know what? Hang on. While we have this go on, I guess Ryung's Depo's word down. Lots of circles get into the main, get through the natural. Whoa. SCVs are being gutted once again. Ryung's almost got no workers left behind this. This may not have been planned to be an all-in, but it pretty much is now. He's down to 5 workers at this point, and he has to cause damage. But if he panics, he won't cause any. There's a lot of Banelings here. There's not enough that'll necessarily A move to win, but he's got to focus this, and he does it. He splits a little bit late, takes that first hit right in the front lines. Lots of Marines still behind us. He picks up, though, with the Medivacs. I thought he lost his army there for a second. Took a big heart attack, but I don't know. Zombie Grub, do you think this is enough? This is really not a big army.
No, I don't think it's enough. The reinforcements of Starbuck will be enough to deal with it eventually, and he still has Lings in the main base. This is Ryung's last push that is not going to work.
He's got potential to do damage, though. I mean, it's mostly Lings. You could use the SimCity, these buildings against those Lings. You could go behind the mineral lines. These Mutalisks are coming out in such low quantities that it's actually not that scary in and of itself. But you're right, this is his last push. There's no other way to phrase that. He's still losing things at home. He's still pumping out a couple more Marines. He's trying to secure the natural base. He's kind of giving up on the main, but... Oh, even the Spore Crawler killing like one medevac. Like, this is so important he doesn't lose anything here. He needs every single unit alive right now. Every single medevac healing is critical.
Those mutas popping out at the natural hatch really sucked. And that really sucked too, just wasting all those banelings on a Marauder. He has some coming in from the back, but he realizes that, well, that's too good of a spread.
Oh, don't kill the evolution here. Oh, the Broodlings. Yeah, he's so spread out that the Broodlings are actually proving to be pretty effective, picking off 1 or 2 Marines here. I mean, the thing is still pointing out before, Starbuck still got 4 bases. Ryung doesn't know about that 4th. So he might think he's beating his opponent back to 1, but Starbuck's kind of just rallied everything here towards the 4th. Grouping outside the natural. I mean, he's got some Brood Banelings too. Oh, God. Oh, God.
Oh, those Burrowed Banelings will probably end the game.
Well, no, because, you know, alternatively, you could just pick up and go home. Oh, but does he? Is the question.
Pick up and go home? He's pretty much given up on the idea of turning us into a you know, anything longer. He's only on 5 SCVs.
That is true. We do see Starbuck going for the base. Actually might end up hurting him more than helping him. If he had kept his whole army on the other side of the field, this would be different. But at the same note, Starbuck doesn't know whether Ryung recovered from this or not. You know, he killed a lot of SCVs, but maybe Ryung had hidden some. Maybe he's just muling up like crazy, whatever the case may be. Ryung actually falls back entirely to the main. Why was that depot left down? What? Yeah,
I know. It was, you know, could have wasted a lot of banelings that made him survive on the high ground, but as it is, Starbuck decides not to try for it anyways. And Ryung's army does take down the main.
Ryung is kind of making this work in an impossible scenario, though. Wait, is he not going to finish that?
This 1 Marine. Nope, that's... Yeah, no, that 1 Marine's that's the job.
Okay, I was going to say...
Oh, and he scans and sees the banelings.
Oh my god, Ryung is in god mode right now.
I don't know.
Oh my god, this is one of mine! This one of mine with 2 HP! This could change the game depending on what it goes off on. Gets a good chunk of the Lings. There's still not that many banelings. He's remaking the nest right now. You know what? I thought Ryung was straight up screwed, but he might still be in this because with enough muling, he can still produce Marines, and that's all he really needs.
Yeah. Oh my god. I mean, he had like a small group that
he gets the banelings
now. I think Ryung's really gonna do it. Man, this guy is the guy that would do it. I mean, I remember seeing so many games where it's just like, yeah, you can't do it, and then it's all he does it.
This is like the battery pack, like finally charged. Like he's lost so many games that I've cast him for, you know, the whole Rifkin caster curse joke, but he's finally making up for it. Although
so many banelings.
But he's gonna catch him. He's gonna catch him here. These medevacs coming from behind with 2 more banelings that he tries to lift up. I see more reinforcements coming across the map, but he can't afford to bleed out these medevacs. These are units he can't reproduce. He can reproduce any amount of Marines. That's granted the benefit of mules, but oh my god, the banelings are rolling in from both sides. He's got to split, he's got to pick up, get up on the high ground, but as he gets up on the high ground, there's still banelings on the high ground. He doesn't know where to go.
Still Marauders. Still Marauders, rather.
The humanity.
That looked a little scary, especially since the baneling nest was forgotten about, because his spawning pool is down so far in advance of it actually dying, but the baneling nest was not. But it turns out